Marsh, the Los Angeles Angels and 66ers baseball.
This is Joe Adele here with the Los Angeles Angels.
Jordan Jr. You're listening to the Old Angels podcast.
What is up? It is your boy Johnny Mags, joined as always with
Dan Garcia.
And Chris, the producer Johnson, is here as well. Off mic.
Forgot the mic.
No mic, actually.
Forgot the mic.
But he's in his.
That's my bad. But he's here.
He's in his full producer gear.
We will have a Chronicles too, so
yeah,
I will lend my mic for that one.
There we go. So we are back. Actually, since Dan recorded on Sunday, there's only been that Sunday game and then yesterday's game. They were off on Monday, so we'll recap Sunday and yesterday's game Tuesday as we're recording here on a Wednesday. We're about half hour before first pitch, so the Angels will get started while we're recording their second game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cole Calhoun led Arizona Diamondbacks. Crazy game last night, but we'll get into that one when we start the recap. So let's get into Sunday's game. That was a game in which Andrew Heaney took the hill, and again, Andrew Heaney, I feel like he's starting to come around. It's crazy to say this, like it's taking a while, but I don't know. He looks better to me. 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. What have you liked about Heaney in these last couple of starts?
No, you're right, and it seems like he is kind of making that turn to, and we kind of mentioned before, maybe not be the ace, but maybe being like a solid number 2, solid number 3, which I guess any competing team needs that. So. Yeah, you just kind of hope that he is turning that corner and he is going to continue this kind of development, because it is getting kind of towards the end where the Angels, I feel, need to make a judgment on him one way or the other. So, you have the rest of the season to kind of play out and see how that is. But definitely, between him and Bundy, those are probably the only 2 guys really in the rotation that you really feel comfortable when they're on the mound.
Right. So we got an email actually about the pitching staff about next year. So keep that in mind. So yeah, let's get into the recap here. The Angels got on the board first in the second inning with 3 walks and then a pass ball. So they took the early 1-0 lead, and then the Rockies.
So that was the thing, though. All that happened, and they got 1 run.
Right.
So
that almost
just kind of being an Angel fan in 2020, you kind of had that feeling where that was your chance to jump up early and get 3 or 4 runs easy. But only getting 1 was like, oh, this has. Them coming back, Colorado coming back and biting us in the ass, written all over it.
Right. You would have liked for them to have gone. I mean, they had the bases loaded. They had 3 walks, and then they actually scored on a pass ball. It was like a miscommunication between the catcher and the pitcher.
I think they got crossed up, yeah.
Yeah, and so if that doesn't happen, the Angels don't score a run here. So, but they got on the board. The Rockies would eventually tie it up with a home run by Matt Kemp. Big Matt Kemp is what I call him.
Wow, he gotten big, or like he is not Dodger Matt Kemp anymore.
No, he's a big boy, which there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, but I remember Matt Kemp being
second place MVP. Probably should have got MVP.
Right.
That was was it Ryan Braun his year?
Yeah, and then we know what Ryan Braun got into later. So
but
talk about the Dodgers getting screwed over. Right?
On that one.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, definitely.
World Series too. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the Dodgers or the Clippers. Chokers. Chokers. They would actually, the Angels would fall behind 3-1, but in the 7th inning, Walsh would single home a run. They would score a run, and then in the 8th, this would happen off the bat of Walsh.
Back up the middle, and Story can't come up with it. It's an RBI single. Simmons will score, and the Angels are down a run. Stays hot.
Gooby said it right there. Brandon Walsh is really... Jared. Brandon is from 90210. See?
Jesus Christ.
Jared Walsh has been real...
He's only been on the podcast.
Right.
Twice.
Sorry, Jerry. He's a guy that I actually like. I really like Jared Walsh. But anyway, really just coming through in situations that, we otherwise expect... we expect the Rendones. We expect it from the Trouts, even the Fletchers. But to get this kind of production from I said it again, Jared Walsh.
Just say Walsh.
Walshy.
There you go, Walshy.
Get this production from Walshy, and he's been getting moved up in the lineup because of the fact that he's been hot. And
it seems like, honestly, right now, it seems like if he's not playing first, he's DHing with the struggling Ohtani. Walsh has definitely stepped up and has kind of taken that spot. That first base / DH spot over. And like we mentioned this in another podcast, I don't know if it's because he's not pitching, because Kyle come to find out, he got injured a little bit during spring training, and because of that, they kind of shut down his pitching for the year. I don't know how you go back to it. If he continues this kind of streak and he's legitimately competing for a first base spot next year, I don't know how you put him in a bullpen situation. Like, he's cranking out. He's probably the hottest player on the team right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Walsh is that he last year in AAA hit 36 home runs. So the power's there. And if he can add that production that we're missing from Ohtani, and then even become, like you said, that competing for that first base spot next year, I don't see how you take away his reps in the cage, getting better offensively.
Because he's 27, so he's older than I think a lot of people think. So he doesn't have a lot of time. No, I don't want to say he doesn't have a lot of time, but you kind of figure he's 27 and he's kind of done this, a two-way player thing for a little bit. If he's gonna make any kind of legitimate big money, I think it's going to be on the offensive side like this. And if he can put a season or two together and then get into the arbitration and and for him make some legit serious money.
It's funny, as we're talking about him and as you were talking about him, he was right over your shoulder.
That's Scooby.
They well, not right now, but as you were talking about Walshy, right over your shoulder, they were showing clips of him just smashing the ball and just going like all over the place with the ball.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm glad to see that Walshy is bringing that production that we're missing from, especially from a left-hander in Ohtani. Like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's filling that spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, after that, in the 8th inning, Albert would come up to the plate and hit home run number 660 to pull the Angels ahead 4-3.
Albert Sky went down the left field line, hit well. He's watching this one go. That is gone.
Did you pause it or something?
Big fly number 660 for Albert Pujols. He is just now tied Willie Mays on the all-time home run list.
And as Victor just said, he tied the Say Hey kid Willie Mays with home run number 660. Next one will be 661, putting him ahead of Mays as he just continues to make his way up to the top of that list. Obviously, I don't think he'll get to the top,
right?
But just making his way up that list, and he's, he just passed up at A-Rod in RBIs. It's pretty cool to, we've said it before, to see this happening right before our eyes. Obviously, not all of them came in Angels uniforms, but these milestones that he's getting to are always a cool thing to kind of reminisce about the past and to really, I guess, appreciate Albert Pujols, because as Angel fans, we didn't see the Albert Pujols that the Cardinals got to see, but we're able to look back at his career and say, man, 660 home runs, that's no joke.
No, it's cool too. So me and my wife were actually watching the game when it was happening, and obviously with no fans there, it was easy for them to kind of get the ball and authenticate it and put in a case and do what they want with it. So she asked me, does he get to keep the ball? So I'm asking you, if you're Albert and you not passed yet, but you tie a major milestone like 660, are you keeping 660 or are you keeping 661?
I'm keeping 661 because that's the one that broke the record.
Or the next one up.
That got you past 660 if they want to take it to the Hall of Fame.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you probably, being Albert, you probably gets one of them, and then the other one goes to the Hall of Fame or something along those lines. Just because let's be frank, he's going to be there.
Right.
When it's over. So it's just something interesting to where I wasn't sure. Obviously 661 I would too. So I was wondering about what you felt on that one.
Absolutely, 661 is the one to keep. But anyway, Angels take the 4-3 lead on that 2-run home run by Albert Pujols. They would actually score one more run on a infield single by Ward, and that would be it as Angels won this one 5-3. Good win against the Rockies, especially after dropping that first one.
Right.
So, just continue to win series. I know that every loss is important right now, but we also need to be realistic and know that the Angels aren't going to win every single game. But as long as they're winning every series, they're staying competitive. And that's, I think, what we spoke about a couple podcasts ago, where it's one thing going out there and just losing all the time and expecting them to lose, but now at least they're staying competitive, they're winning series, and they're keeping things, kind of, what's the word, like, interesting for us, I guess?
I guess they're technically still in it. They're mathematically still in it. I just, and I guess that's what it is. They're kind of making it interesting that way.
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't know
realistically
exactly what the odds are. I mean, stranger stuff has happened if they go on another win streak. Starting tonight. Again, we're recording this Wednesday before first pitch. If they go on a streak tonight into next week, then anything can happen. But I guess they are kind of hanging. Keeping it close for a little bit.
Yeah, that's all you can hope for. So anyway, that
one more thing about this game, and again, this is kind of what I touched on Sunday, is that it's so frustrating as a fan. And the biggest thing was the bullpen, and the bullpen comes in after I think I'm the game, but I know the Saturday. Oh yeah, they beat the Rockies. Never mind. False alarm. Continue as you were.
All right, so they had an off day on Monday, and they started the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks here at the Big A yesterday, as we're recording here on a Wednesday, and Julio Teheran took the bump.
Oof.
And it was rough. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. That was it the second inning when he gave up those home runs back to back, where it just kind of imploded on him a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, he gave up home runs in the first and in the first 2 innings, but the first inning gives up a home run to who else?
Wow.
Cole Calhoun.
The missing link.
Yeah, Cole Calhoun gets a home run, 2-run home run, but then he gives up a back-to-back home runs in the second inning, both solo shots, but still, you have an inning like the first, you give up 2, okay, you kind of feel like you'll be okay, but then to kind of keep it, where you keep on getting up runs and runs and runs, and I mean the first 4 innings for the Diamondbacks, they get 8 runs, 8 runs in the first 4 innings.
Yeah, I have it written here. This was a crazy game. Angels fell behind, just like Dan said, 8-0. The Diamondbacks scored in the first 4 innings, but then the Angels rallied, man.
Right.
They scored 5 runs in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and they tied it. We're here. We are. We're like, sweet, man. This.
Yeah, 5 in the 5th. That was a fun inning.
Yeah, and it was one of these games where you're like, because they've done it already a couple of times where they fell behind by a lot, and then before you knew it, we're back in it. But unfortunately, in the 8th inning, a home run off the bat of Peralta, I think, put the Diamondbacks ahead for good. Angels lose this one 9-8. Although they lost, the one thing that we've always said is that this team can score runs.
And they can. I mean, they've shown that they can score runs. It's just, Julio Teheran, for a while there, wasn't even supposed to be in the rotation, but then I think due to injury or something like that, now he's back in the rotation. You need something from him more than that. I mean, honestly, if he gives, kind of what we mentioned, if he gives up those 2 runs and kind of stops the bleeding there and kind of, set it straight, and maybe he only goes 3 or 4 innings, but still kind of keeps it regular, doesn't blow up, the Angels have an awesome chance at it. I mean, we kind of mentioned it with Walsh, who hit another home run in this game, and Upton, who hit a home run in this game.
Yep.
These guys, especially Upton, is really coming around at the latter part of the year, which, like we've said before, if this was a regular season, this is exactly what you would want. A guy like Upton getting hot around the 50-game mark, and he can carry it for the rest of the season. Being that it's such a small season, it's not helping you much, but it's definitely looks good going into next year.
Yeah. Little minor victories in a otherwise bad season. That's what you look for, little silver linings that you can look forward to next year. Walsh being one of them for sure, Dylan Bundy being another one for sure. So there's pieces there. They just need to puzzle it together now.
And remember when a lot of the fans wanted Madison Bumgarner?
Ooh.
What an outing by him. 5 1/3, 13 hits, 8 earned runs. He has an 8.53 ERA. So, again, just because it's a big name doesn't mean, they're going to be great forever.
Yeah. Angels lose this one 9-8. Again, as we're recording right now, it's not quite first pitch. We're a couple minutes away from that, but they play the Diamondbacks today, then tomorrow, which is Thursday.
Thursday afternoon game.
Yeah, and then they have the Rangers for 4. So, again, they got to win. They got to go on a streak here if they want to keep their hopes really, really alive. Me right now, I'm just looking at them to be competitive.
Telling me there's a chance.
Exactly, there is. But I'm realistic. I'm super realistic. I know what this team is. Anything can happen, though. Really, anything can happen. But again, I'm not holding my breath.
Right. No, I completely agree. You're going to need, as Chris is doing the Angels in the outfield, what do you call it, the flap? I don't know. Johnny was the star of the movie, so he would know better than I. But yeah, I mean, you have against this game against the next 2 games against Arizona, then you have a 4-game series like you mentioned against Texas. Out of those 6 games, if they need to, I think, honestly, be with Houston kind of heating up now, you're going to need to win 4 of those games. And not to mention, after those games, you're playing the Padres, who are really on fire right now. So,
Your NL team.
yes, what?
What?
Huh?
Your NL team?
Yeah, my NL team, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Friar Faithful. Don't hate. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see the next week when we come back here next Wednesday. I mean, by the time we meet up next Wednesday, it's going to be the final, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, last 5 days of the season.
Oh, man.
So it's going to be make or break time. So that's what I'm saying. You have to win probably 4 out of the next 6 to continually be kind of in that mix. Otherwise, it's going to be over by then.
And, not just that, but the teams ahead of them have to kind of lose some games here and there, too.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, either way, they're going to have to kind of,
You got to win your games. Just
they have
remember
to
that
take
way.
they have to take care of their business first
you gotta
before
win your games.
you can really worry about what the Astros or any of those other guys are doing ahead of them. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We talked about it so many times, the whole tanking thing. Obviously, they're not doing it, and I agree with it completely. So hopefully, they're able to get this win, the next 2 wins against Arizona, and kind of get this ball rolling. And Cy Bundy is pitching tonight, so that's a good way of starting a streak, is putting your best pitcher out there, and maybe in some weird way they can start pitching Bundy and Haney back-to-back days.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Also keep our fingers crossed. So that's it for the weekend review. Again, like we said, they only played
2
that
games.
Sunday game, off day Monday, and then they played last night on Tuesday as we
Right.
record here on a Wednesday. So I got nothing right now, and if you want to go to commercial break and then come back on the other side, we got a Curator's Chronicles, and then of course we got the emails. So with that being said, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll catch you guys on the other side. Oh, it extends.
That's what she said.
It might get to you. Extend it. Oh.
Let me know when we hit the music. You have to flip the switch off when you're ready. There it is. Ready? And
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game.
It's a beautiful day for a ball game. Another edition of the Curator's Chronicles. It's me, Chris the Curator Johnson, bringing to you some Angels history. Always one of my favorite things to do in life is talk about history, and especially Angels history. If you're watching the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or it'll be there for you later. One thing we've been doing this whole season is showcasing some Angels memorabilia, and I don't think you can talk about Angels baseball without talking about John?
1961.
Gene Autry.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Gene Autry, man. We have no Angels baseball without Gene Autry. I don't know. Do the Angels exist without Gene Autry?
Do the Angels exist without the Dodgers? Is the bigger question.
no.
I'm gonna take it there.
Anyway,
Where did Gene Autry go for?
that's another discussion.
Where did he go to the winter meetings for in 1961?
To buy rights
To?
to radio.
For,
Golden West.
but to broadcast
Angels games.
Dodgers games.
Dodgers games. Anyways. Dude, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for these Angel fans.
What a buzzkill.
Anyways, so Gene Autry, known as the singing cowboy, right? Sang Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
We're back in the saddle again.
Which they did play. They played when they went on the field, I believe, after they won the World Series.
Right.
With Tim Salmon, he held Gene Autry's famous cowboy hat. So the piece of memorabilia I present to you today, my friends, is my only Gene Autry autograph that I own, but it's actually a letter that he sent. If you're watching this online, or if you listen on the podcast on on Apple or iTunes, whatever it may be, what I'm showing right now is a letter he sent thanking a country western musical act, but saying he cannot be in attendance to their to the event in which they're nominated into the Western Music Association Hall of Fame. I cordially reject the invitation. So, what's cool about this is if you can see it, the letterhead, it looks like a CA from afar, but it also he actually has this custom letterhead that says GA for Gene Autry.
Nice.
So I thought that's pretty cool. This was sent in 1996, and he would go on to pass away in 1998.
Yeah.
He married his Jackie Autry, was his actually bank teller.
Yes.
From Security Pacific Bank, which
Cha-ching.
my grandparents both worked at, and I think they actually knew Jackie Autry back in the day.
Wow.
And the Parker Hotel, which is a really swanky hotel, located off Palm Drive out in
Palm Springs.
Yeah, Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Still there. They had a reality show one year, but that's his residence, which also became the Gene Autry Hotel. So a lot of stuff woven into Southern California history, but Gene Autry, I think Angel fans who know the team before 2002 will always kind of hold up Gene Autry, and he's kind of always ingrained into the franchise history.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game.
Would never have known that was a GA unless Chris would have said something. Because I was looking at
like he said, unless you're up close and actually looking for it, your eye is so trained on seeing that CA that you just automatically assume that's a CA. You don't even really think twice about it.
You don't see that a lot either.
Right.
But hell, if you own the team, why the hell not?
Like this sweet purple and gold CA hat I got on right now.
Wow, you can see someone's
Is that a
peacocking.
Clippers hat?
How dare you? Anyway.
Yeah, moving on.
Anyway, LA our way, all right? LA our way. Angels way, baby.
We're going to turn this into a freaking Laker podcast.
Welcome to the All Lakers podcast. No.
There's probably like 20,000 of those.
Yeah, there is. They're not number 3 like we are.
Are we?
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
So let's get into
That's not a good thing.
let's get into some email questions. Again, you guys can always email us at allangelspodcast@gmail.com, or if you don't follow us on, or if you follow us on social media, Halo_Haven on both Twitter and Instagram. You can also hit us up there. But usually on our emails where we check, our questions for the show, and that's probably your best chance to not get lost in the shuffle.
Right, exactly. So, first question from Lamar Washington, loyal listener. So, what up, fellas? Honest opinion on Taylor Ward. From listening to you, I know your feelings somewhat on him, but be honest. And is he a guy that sticks around? Seems like Joe likes him a lot.
I think Joe likes him a lot.
I think Joe does too. Madden, not Adele.
Yeah.
Adele? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Madden, just clearing that up.
You know what, Taylor Ward to me, and I think we touched on it on the last time we were together on the podcast, where, okay, if he's gonna be your utility guy, I see him being an okay piece. I think piece.
I think that utility role is probably his peak.
Yeah, especially if he can play the infield and the outfield, which he
has shown that he can do it. I think it shows too that at times when they need to have like a quote unquote defensive defense replacement, it's been him, Joe, and Trout in the outfield. So obviously they have enough confidence in him that way, but offensively I just don't think he produces enough to be in the lineup day in and day out.
He's not a guy that Joe Madden is gonna always find a way to put him in that lineup, or he doesn't need to be in the lineup. Of course, Joe's gonna like him because of his versatility, but like you said, offensively, like he's just not the guy that a lot of people were hoping that he would be. You know, like what 3 years ago, when we both, I think we both mentioned that we kind of wish they would have flipped him when he was
his
in
high
side was up.
and he hit like 30 something.
Yeah. And he was a
home
catcher.
runs. Well, no, he was a third baseman
Was
then
he a
because
third baseman?
he didn't. I don't
remember.
think he was a catcher past low A or
Okay.
high A. I mean, I think once he got a double and triple, I think that's when they moved him. But yeah, I think the platoon role is probably where he peaks out at, and if he can make a solid career out of that, then good for him. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see him in the everyday lineup, and then even too, honestly, he might be one of those guys that when it comes to his arbitration time, Angels might feel like they can get that kind of production from someone else and might non-tender him. I don't know. We'll see how that goes down the line. But yeah, I think what he's doing right now is kind of what you'll see from him permanently, I guess, throughout his career. So this next one from Ruben, he says, what pitchers are the Angels look like? What pitchers on the Angels do they keep beyond 2021?
Heaney, and right now, I mean, Dylan Bundy's.
I think Dylan Bundy.
not?
The thing about Dylan Bundy, he's a free agent past 2021, so they have him for this year or next year.
Mm-hmm.
So by then, I think he'll be 29-ish. So that's kind of concerning a little bit, depending if he has 2 good years. If he has 2 good years with the Angels, what's his asking price, and what are you kind of seeing him past 30?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of concerns me. But then you have a lot of young guys. I think Canning will be involved in there somewhere.
Yeah, Canning.
Jaime, we didn't really talk about him a lot because he didn't pitch during those 2 games, but I think he might be someone in the mix. He seems to be getting better as the season goes on. So Bundy, I don't know, depending on how that free agency is going to work out, but I think you can definitely see like a Canning, Jaime. If it's 2 years, where's Reed Detmers going to be? Where is Chris Rodriguez going to be in 2 years? Those are the guys that might be like in that AAA, ready to break through by that time kind of deal. So it'll be interesting to see how especially those 2 young pitchers are with the Angels in a couple years.
Right. Again, guys, I mean, you look at everybody on the Angels staff, and they're all, like you said, young guys. Like, you got Sandoval, you got Barria.
Sandoval, right. We'll see what Sandoval, does he... And that's something that kind of happened today before we recorded, when Sandoval got called back up. Joe said that he is going to be in the bullpen, and which kind of surprised me. I thought he would take Julio Teheran's spot because, granted, Sandoval has struggled the second and third time through the lineup, but he's been really good the first time through, where you look at Julio and he's just been bad first, second, third, whatever time through the lineup. So for Madden to come out and say that Sandoval is going to be out of the bullpen right now kind of surprised me. I thought you would flip Julio into the bullpen and then Sandoval in the rotation. So, it could still happen, but that's what I was kind of hoping for. Yeah, he could be a major spot in the rotation in the next couple years. They're so young. That 2021 year is going to determine a lot what they're going to do after that year.
Absolutely, yep, I agree.
And he had a second question. He's all, with Artie Moreno's love for position players, what do you think of the chances of acquiring Francisco Lindor this offseason if we don't end up with a top pitcher? And Johnny's kind of showing it right now on our YouTube. 0%.
Yeah, no. You don't... That's not priority at all right now.
Well, especially because at the end of this season, he's still under contract until 2021.
Right.
The Indians have mentioned that they are wanting to move him.
Yeah, right. But are the Angels a fitting piece?
Not only that, but you have big contracts for Trout and Rendon.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you're going to use another one of your big contracts, you're going to want to use it for a pitcher. Yeah.
Right. And secondly, here's the thing. Who are the Angels going to give up?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do the Indians want anybody that the Angels have?
Right. So, like, a trade-wise, I don't think it works out for them. And then, let's just put it off until when he does hit free agency in 2021, you're going to want that big salary slot to be for a pitcher.
Exactly.
So,
priorities, folks.
So we'll see how how that goes.
Priorities.
It looks like Chris is on Instagram Live. Is there any questions popping up on Instagram Live at all?
Simmons talk.
Simmons. Okay, so Simmons. Let's go Simmons. So Simmons is a free agent at the end of the year. It had come out, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday before the game, that there has not been really any negotiations with Simmons to this point. But he has done a lot better since he returned from his injury. So how do you feel about Simmons right now?
Look, he's a guy that the Angels really need to look at and say, okay, how many years does he want and how much money? Like, how big of a contract does he want? I don't think the Angels should go beyond. I think 3 years is pushing it already. You know, that's pushing it. If you can sign him to a 2-year deal at, you know, relatively decent money, I see why not. But I also see the other side where you didn't trade him, so he's either going to walk or stay. And if he walks away, I don't think the Angels are too afraid of that, because we've talked about this before. They got a guy in Fletcher that's totally capable of taking that spot for the next 2 years until they can figure out what they want to do there.
Right.
You know, especially with, you know, if Barreto can turn into the guy that can be serviceable at second base, if Rengifo can turn the corner and maybe be that second baseman, you don't have a problem up the middle there. So I don't think Simmons is that big of a piece where the Angels need to really worry what's going to happen with him. If they can re-sign him for like a 2-year deal with maybe a third option at not such a crazy amount of money, I don't see why the Angels shouldn't get him. But they shouldn't. I personally don't think they should bend backwards to try to get him.
Yeah, I think like a 2-year, 3-year deal at the most is probably perfect for the Angels. And Simmons, like I mentioned, he's been back since injury. Came back August 21st. He's playing 20 games since then. Again, this is before Wednesday's night game. But one of the big things we've always mentioned is that he seems like he's always trying to hit the long ball.
Yeah, man.
And it seems like since the injury, I don't know if on purpose or just kind of has happened, but he hasn't hit any home runs, but yet he's still batting over 320. So, again, you know, if this is the Simmons you're going to get where he can get on base and let guys knock him in, again, he has 7 RBIs, but he's walked 7 times. So, obviously, he's done better in that aspect as far as getting on base, and I think that's what the Angels need. The Angels don't need a power-hitting shortstop when you have Trout. And then, again, if Upton can kind of turn a corner and continue to be the 30-home-run guy, 25-home-run guy in a regular season, you don't need that. And then same thing with Joe. If Joe can figure out his swing, and he's shown the power.
Right.
He's a guy that can hit. You know, next year I wouldn't be surprised if he hits through a whole season. If he hits like 15, 20 home runs, I wouldn't be surprised at that.
That's where I see
so, you know, if Simmons is kind of willing to, I guess, take that role as, hey, let me be like a Fletcher, get on base and let my guys hit me home, then, 2-3 years, 3 at the most, are probably where I feel the most comfortable with him.
Yep.
Anything past that, I think you're honestly really, really pushing it, and I just don't think the Angels need to do that, kind of like what you said, because of the Fletcher in the in the organization, and obviously can do it really well.
Yep.
So, but yeah, going back to the original question, Francisco Lindor, I think there's no need for that. So, I just think that's not an issue at all, or not
even a thought in my mind for sure.
So the next one's from Duncan Healy. He's from, of course, a Dead Horse, Alaska. Loyal listener, and he even proves it in this one. He says, "Hey guys, I want to give Johnny some credit. I remember last year you saying that you liked Walsh over Theis and Ward, so props to you on that. But man, Walsh has been on it. Dead Horse loves the All Angels podcast."
Well, thank you, Duncan. And yeah, something about Jared Walsh. See, I said it right that time.
But you said it so many times wrong that you just have zero confidence in it. Yeah, zero.
Walshy though, something about him that I don't know, man. I like his approach at the plate, like his stance and stuff. Like he's got such a sweet. I mean, it took him a while, and maybe you don't blame him really, because I mean the way the season started and all that stuff, it's just real rough to kind of get started. But if this is a Walsh, because the Walsh that was in AAA last year, who had 36 home runs and drove in 100 RBIs, I don't think that's a total fluke. I don't think that that's something that you can look past. The PCL is a league where the ball flies, but
yeah, it carries.
You still have to,
carries really well.
Right, but you still have to make contact, and everything else has to go right. And I don't think that's something you can kind of fake or be fluky with. And he's showing it now. Just the approach that he has at the plate. I think it was more, earlier on, I think it was more him pressing, trying to do too much. Now, where he's just relaxed and he's like, you know what, I'm going to go out there. And you can just tell by his swing. He's going line to line. He's gapping the ball a lot, driving the ball more. Man, the home run.
The home run yesterday?
Man.
What was the launch angle? It was like at 14 or 17 degrees.
Yeah,
it was a line.
That thing looked like he rolled over like a ground ball. No, that thing just shot out. A straight line. But you know what? When you hit line drives, that's what you want to do as a baseball player. I know all you want to do is hit the ball back up the middle, hit line drives. Home runs are mistakes. But he's just, all you want to do is throw your hands to the ball, and it looks like that's what he's doing really well right now, making good contact. So I like I said, yeah, I like him. I've liked him more than I did Dice, and I like him more than Ward for sure. Out of those, that crop of guys who were in the minor league system together, Ward, Dice, Walsh, Fletcher, but Fletcher's killing it. Fletcher's on another level, but I love Walshy, and he's doing a great job. Like we mentioned earlier, he's going to be a guy who next year definitely is going to get looked at as maybe being that platoon first baseman with Albert Pujols and Albert's last year of his contract.
Yeah, and it's very easily he could be the first baseman, and Albert's the one bouncing back and forth between DHing and first base.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Walsh is the consistent in there. But yeah, this last month has been absolutely crazy. I'm obviously from the beginning of September to now, batting over 400. We're talking about 17 hits, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. Only struck out 6 times, which I really like.
Yeah.
It doesn't strike out a lot. We're talking about on base plus slugging at 14.22. So I guess it doesn't matter what number you look at. He's been killing it for the last month, and if that's because when he was here earlier in the year, then it got sent back down in early August, came back late in August. That time at Long Beach, maybe they've found something or something clicked for him, whatever. But if he can continue this streak, he needs to be that first baseman come opening day 2021, and honestly give him a full 162 season, and can he put up 30 home runs? I mean, you look at it now, he put up 6 in this month. Can he put up 30? It's going to be really interesting to see, especially if he continues to develop and continue to grow, because a power hitting first baseman, it's always nice to have.
Yeah, he's a big boy, so it's not like you look at him and say, nah, there's no way this guy can hit 30. You look at him and you're like, yeah, it's a 25, 30 home run guy, just by looking at his physique, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
He's a big guy. But, man, the power's there. He's showing it at the lower levels. He's showing it now. Now that we've seen it, we're like, okay, yeah. So, yeah, Walshy is a guy who definitely next year is going to get a very good. People are going to keep the Joe and the coaching staff is going to keep their eye on him, and they're going to have to eventually, if he keeps producing, man, keep him in the lineup every day.
Yeah, there's just no way, and that's and Madden has mentioned for this season that's the main reason why some of these guys are getting way more playing time than like an Ohtani or people like that, because you got to go with the hot hand, and Jared has that hot hand, and you're going to have to run with it until it runs out. And so we'll see how that goes. But Jared obviously is on a roll, and can only hopefully get better from here and help the Angels moving forward.
Absolutely. Any more emails there?
That was the last one.
All right, so yeah, if you guys want to email the show, it's allangelspodcast@gmail.com, or on our social medias, Twitter and Instagram @Halo_Haven, like I mentioned before. We get a lot of DMs on the Instagram, stuff like that. So if you want your question answered for sure, allangelspodcast@gmail.com to shoot your comments, questions, concerns to the show. Duncan, you want to shout out, the Curator on there? I know that's your favorite segment. Or you got questions for Curator, myself, or Daniel? That's where you need to send them to.
Yeah, exactly. And so obviously we're doing this on YouTube, so we're trying to get more people there too. So subscribe to our YouTube page. It's The Halo Haven on YouTube. Subscribe. I think we might be trying this a couple of times too, especially for now, and then maybe put up some videos during the off season and stuff like that. But definitely look it up on YouTube, The Halo Haven on YouTube. Because if you just type in Halo Haven, I found out there's a lot of Halo video game players out there.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. So The Halo Haven on YouTube. And before we go again, a quick update on our strikeout total for the Angels. coming into Wednesday's night game. Again, we are donating $1 for every strikeout the Angels throw this year, and with a week and a half left, the Angels are at donating to the Tyler Skaggs Foundation. With a week and a half left, the Angels are at 418 strikeouts. So that's $418 for the Tyler Skaggs Foundation. We will donate at the end of the year.
Where do we go and buy a big check from?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually Googled it, and guess what? Amazon literally has everything you
Big
need.
check.
So yeah, we're gonna try to work something out to where we can give them a one of those big check, like you see at like the old school golf tournaments. And if you're a fan of Happy Gilmore, like I am, the one that he won at the end of coming in last at a golf tournament, but yet still wanted one of those big checks. So definitely something we can look up on Amazon, and I have looked up. They have one.
Cool.
So
I want to present Carly and Debbie a big check.
Yeah, so that's definitely something we're gonna work out. Maybe.
Hey man, it's just foam board. Get your cricket.
Maybe,
I do have a cricket.
maybe Chris will make one. Chris can make one. We'll see.
We could put our logo on it. Could put their logo on it.
So yeah, that's definitely something we're gonna look forward to doing once the season's over, and then who knows? Maybe we'll record a little bit of it and throw it up on our YouTube page.
No doubt. See, that's why you got to follow the Halo Haven.
The Halo Haven on YouTube.
Quick story. Back in the day, like when I don't know if you guys. Well, Dan's a little younger than us, but
A little.
you know, about 6-7 years. Like AOL chat, Yahoo chat rooms back in the day. Like I'm talking like 2000, 2001. Okay. So you guys want to follow me on Instagram?
I thought you were gonna say on Halo. Halo chat.
You guys want to follow me on Instagram? That's Halos Fan 1524. But that's always been my like tag, Halos Fan or Halo Fan, like Halo Fan. Like that's always been my thing. It was like Halos Fan 15 or whatever it was, and so I was on one of the Google Yahoo chat rooms, or it might have been AOL chat rooms, and you know, I'm like, you know, trying to be all cool. I'm like this 18, 19-year-old kid on there like, hey, what's up, ladies? Blah, 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 blah. So I was talking to this one girl, and I'm like, oh, she's like, oh, Halo fan. You play Halo? I'm like, I had no idea what this was. I think Halo at the time was probably a computer game, right? Like a computer game. But like Halo fan, and that's when I realized, holy crap, they think I'm some like gamer. Nerd, you know?
Before his time. See, knowing
So
now,
advantage.
I'm about to say, knowing now what it is today, you should have took up Halo. Maybe you would have been like some multimillionaire gamer right now. We could be actually doing this in an actual real studio.
Right, exactly. But you know, I missed the boat on that one. But that's when I realized that, yeah, dude, Halo, like the Halo video gamer guys,
it's huge.
That's big.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. So yeah, the Halo's
and
Haven, or the Halo Haven.
Is that dial-up connection?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our YouTube page, and obviously you can always follow us on our social media stuff, so Twitter and Instagram at Halo_Haven. We are always there posting stuff. So obviously the season's coming to an end, so we are gonna have to have a meeting and see how we're gonna do this at the end of the year. But we will still be around in the off season. You can definitely look forward to like kind of like a recap.
Yeah.
We'll probably have some guys on once the season's over. They're a lot easier to get a hold of once the season's over. So stick with us.
No doubt.
All the fans that have over the past 60 games, or going to be 60 games, and through the quarantine and everything, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So we will continue to put out product even during the off season, and hopefully you're along for the ride as well.
And I'm sure we'll have like even though the season's probably gonna end not how we wanted to, but it's realistically talking, like we'll have a recap show, and then we'll talk. Right, there's a chance. We'll have that recap show. We'll go over everything. It's crazy that you talk about this, man. I remember sitting in this room watching. Remember when we did the recap of like, I think it was like World Series games or whatever it was? When did we
we watched like game 6 and 7.
Okay, so I remember watching those games thinking, we're not going to have a season. This is what we're going to be doing all year long. We're going to be recapping old games, doing all this kind of stuff. But to look back at these 60 games now, it's crazy, dude, that we were able to fit in a season. Remember when it first started? We're like, are they even going to get through it?
They're going to get like 20 games, and then things going to be canceled.
Remember the Marlins?
Which they probably should have. After the Marlins, after the St. Louis.
Remember the Marlins?
The Marlins, the St. Louis thing, and you're like, oh crap, here it comes.
But they did a real good job after all that to really kind of just get through it. But you know what?
And kind of piggybacking off of that, the spring training calendar did come out today.
Right.
So now I'm super jazzed about that. And if fans, screw it, even if fans aren't allowed at games, we're gonna be down there. And
We'll be hanging around the gates trying to look in.
Exactly, but
no,
definitely see Halo Haven at spring training 2021
Yeah.
for
We're gonna have a
sure.
drone.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
a drone that's gonna fly it over and that cause a game delay.
I'm optimistic because there's already fans in certain areas.
Well, I mean,
the
you're seeing
social
it
distancing,
at
some football games.
You're seeing it
It's at-
possibly by the World Series. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Hopefully everything.
Right.
There can be kind of a breakthrough in the medical part of it, and hopefully, numbers go down. But we are really looking forward again
Yeah.
to going to 2021 spring training.
Yeah. So with that being said, follow us again on our social media, Halo_Haven. If you guys want to send us your messages at Halo or at allangelspodcast@gmail.com. That's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back on Sunday with a quick show.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah.
So just a heads up. Sunday I am talking with Michael Brown. You know him from he's been on it before. So we're gonna come and talk about baseball, just kind of baseball in general, and a little bit of Angels baseball. And then Wednesday we'll be back all together to do a regular
We'll do the
podcast,
recap
and we'll
of that.
recap all of that
For sure.
But like I said before, by Wednesday we should have a pretty good idea if we are still in it or if it's okay. Let's start playing our young guys
Mathematically out, yeah. All right, so with that being said, you've listened to another edition of the All Angels Podcast. I am Johnny Maggs,
I'm Dan Garcia.
and that's Chris the Curator Johnson. We'll see you next week.